Hi, this is Scott Marshman with eCabinets Tips and Tricks. Today I got a cool trick for you. If you use your personal workbook to store your macros in, you have already figured out that you have to come into macros and select the macro that you want to run on whatever workbook it is that you want to run. So even if I'm just in my personal workbook here, you can see that I've got several macros in here. Now if I had somebody working off of my computer and they needed to run a report, they would have to know which one they needed to run, and they could possibly click on the wrong one and screw my workbook up. And another thing is that you can add a shortcut key, but if you look at all these macros in here, in my mind I could never remember every shortcut key and what it's for and what workbook I should be running it on. So what I've got is I've come up with this cool trick. And what it does is you only have to remember one shortcut key, and it will automatically add a home page, activate that home page, and add a button and assign a macro to that button. And the only thing you have to do, or the user has to do, is click on the button they want to execute the macro on. And in this case, it's created this cabinet size report. And now they can just go back home. They can actually scroll down here till they find the home tab there, or they can right click right down here on these arrows. If you right click down there, this dialog comes up and you can just double click on the worksheet you want to go to. And I can run my sheet stock report and click yes, and it's there. It's done for me. So let me show you how I did this. And what I got is I've got a subroutine named homepage, and I've got a module named add homepage. And what I've done is I've got this code in here. Now if you haven't viewed my video on how to add a worksheet to a workbook, you're going to want to check out Formatting eCabinets Cut List in Excel Part 5. I'll show you exactly how to go about doing this, but basically what it does is I've got a WS defined as a worksheet, and I've got a for next loop that looks at each worksheet in the active workbook.worksheets. If it finds that worksheet, in other words, if the worksheet's name is home, then it will activate that worksheet or select it and then exit the sub. So in other words, it's not going to keep adding a new worksheet named home every time you hit that shortcut key. If it does not find it, then it adds a worksheet, and right here it says active workbook.sheets.add.name equals home. So it adds it to the workbook and names it home. And right here I've got it defined. I've got HM defined as a worksheet, and I set HM equals active workbook.sheets and the sheet tab name home there. And then right here is where I moved that worksheet. I want to make sure that it is always the very first worksheet in the workbook. So I've got hm.move before colon equals active workbook dot sheets, and then I've got 1 in parentheses. That's going to always put it to be the very first sheet in the workbook. And right here hm.activate. Now down here is the code that adds those buttons. Let me show you how I came about getting those. I just recorded a macro. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select in the cell that I want to start my button at. And right here I've got snap to grid turned on. And now if you don't see snap to grid on your quick access toolbar or in your ribbon anywhere, you can go to File, Options, and under quick access toolbar and under all commands, this lists all the commands that Excel has, and they are in alphabetical order, so it makes it kind of easy to find them. You just scroll down here till you find snap to grid, and that is right here, snap to grid. Then you select it and you click add, and it'll add it right to it, right to your quick access toolbar. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and start recording a macro. So I'm going to click on record macro, and I'm going to give that macro a name, and it'll probably say it already exists because I've done this before. So yes, I'm going to override it, and I'm in the cell I want to start on, so I'm going to go to shapes, and I'm going to select my shape. and I'm going to just start dragging. It's going to snap to the grid there. Once I get it to the size I want it, I'm going to type my text and cabinet size report. That's the macro I'm going to put in that rectangle. I'm going to go home here and I'm going to center that up. Now, while I'm in the rectangle, I'm going to right click and I'm going to click Assign Macro. And I'm going to find the macro I want to assign that button to. So that is going to be cabinet size report there. So cab size report. And I can double click on that and it added it to it. So while I'm still recording here, I'm going to go ahead and put another shape in there. So I'm going to click on Shapes and select the shape I want and just come right here and drag it down till I got it size I want. And again type the text in and center that up. So home and align. And then right click and assign the macro I want for that button. So that would be format sheet component listing. Now you would continue doing that until you got all the macros assigned to the buttons that you want the user to be able to click on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to click anywhere in here just to get off of that rectangle and go to developer and stop recording. And now I will go to macros, find my macro that I just recorded, edit that, and go ahead and just select all of that. Now you can come in here and clean that up and play with it and eliminate stuff you think you might not need, but all in all, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to go into my add homepage module here and just paste it right in there. And you can see I've already got that, but I would put it right after my home.activate. That needs to be uncommented. I would put it right after home.activate. So, and between in sub there. So I'm going to just go paste and now it's in there. So if I X out of this, actually, yeah, let me X out of this. Now the next thing I would do would be to go into macros here because I want to assign a shortcut key. So I need to come in here and find my home page macro there, and I'm going to go under options. And you can see right here I've already assigned a shortcut key. If you haven't, then you would just assign one. So I'm going to click OK, and I can just click cancel or whatever. But anyhow, if I delete this worksheet here, and I can be anywhere in my workbook, it don't matter. And I'll go Control Shift and E, and it adds it to the very beginning. And I can run my cabinet size report. And then I can come down here and right click and double click on home. And it comes right there. So sheets.report, and that's it. I hope this video helped you. If it did, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can get all my latest tips and tricks. And as always, thank you for watching and have a good day.